Condoms have an annual contraceptive failure rate of 18.4% for girls under age 18. Now, everything that I'm telling you, none of this comes from me. It comes from the research of the people I work with and research that I've done, and I'm simply presenting information. So if you don't agree with it, that's quite all right. I just want you to know that you're not disagreeing with me. Advantages of Genvi, and I'm not selling Genvi. I know that the Chicago press really vilified me. The young reporter got in touch with me and wormed her way into my confidence, saying, "We think every woman should know about this, and we are so proud of what you're doing." And then I went up to Chicago to get the award last October, and this reporter was there. And she said, "Oh, we're so proud of," and they came out with a story that made me cry. But that's a part of the business. One application of Genvi is effective against STDs for 4 hours. Incidentally, that is a broad range of STDs. Now, in 1950, we had 6 STDs. In 2007, we have 26 STDs and growing. Genvi has a shelf life of 2 years. Now, one of the important things about the shelf life is that Genvi can be stored in even hot temperatures because it's been tested for that. And this is an important factor. When I was in the canal zone in the Republic of Panama, I went into warehouses that had heat so great that I was soaking wet within seconds, and I couldn't breathe. I could only stand there about 3 minutes, and I came outside and I couldn't understand how the workers could stand it. So I asked one of the managers there, "Can you store condoms in these warehouses?" They said, "Sure. Everything that comes into the canal zone is stored in these warehouses unless it's refrigerated." I said, "I want you to check on something. Can you find out how long the condoms are stored here? Because these buildings are scorching hot during the day, they cool at night, hot again." And I found that the condoms are stored there anywhere from 3 to 6 months to 18 months, depending on where they were going, because it's a slow-moving item. Now, the Hispanic community had said these things break, but the family planning community said no, they don't. So I found they're both correct. When latex heats and cools over a long period of time, it breaks down because the material is already thin down to micrometers. Now, latex, stretched thin, has something called voids. This is not me talking. This is the head of the magazine Rubber, I believe it's called Rubber and Chemical, or Rubber and Plastic. But I was reading an article where he was saying that he was concerned that condoms would not stop the spread of AIDS because the AIDS virus is so microscopic, and condoms, latex, naturally have these voids. Now, that's not to say that condoms are not an excellent way to fight HIV. One of the problems, of course, is getting people to use them and use them consistently. I've coined a phrase called the second date syndrome. Most people will be very careful on the first date, but by the third date, they know each other, they look at each other, and they look healthy, and they look fine, so they go back to their more natural ways. Genvi has no known side effects, and we've had it approved in 2000. And so we've had 7 years experience with it, and we haven't had any complaints to the government yet. Genvi is unobtrusive during contact, and it effectively prevents skin-to-skin STDs. Now, this is a very important factor because, particularly in Africa, there are a lot of, in any warm climate, there are a lot of skin-to-skin disease. That is, herpes, genital warts, and syphilis. And these are things that condoms can't cover, unfortunately, whereas Genvia as a liquid can and does. Genvia has broad spectrum activity. We've tested against a number of viruses and spores. Now, we tested against hepatitis, which is one of the more difficult viruses to kill. And at first, it wouldn't pass. I got a call late night at home saying, "We can approve Genvia, but you're going to have to include in your labeling that it will not stop hepatitis. Do you want to do that?" Well, I thought about it, and I called them back and said, "No, I don't want to do that. I want it to be as complete as possible, or we can't do this." So they brought in a professor from Beijing who discovered that the pH level was too low. They raised it to, I believe, 5.6 or 6, and it passed with flying colors, and we got it approved. Genvia can be used by men and women. Genvia is very cost effective. Now, I know that I have been vilified in the press that I am trying to make money. That's why I'm at this. Well, 12 years is a long time to try and turn a profit. There are so many things I could have done. I could have come here and started a software company and become a Bill Gates, but this was my calling. Under normal conditions, one 30 milliliter unit of Genvia will serve one person for approximately 3 months. Now we come to the end of the age plan. I'll be brief, I'll be quick. I know that I'm taking up too much time. Step 1, distribute Genvia to all sex workers with a pictorial instruction as to its use. We developed a pictorial instruction for Africa, where many people cannot read. So they can look at the pictures and see exactly what to do. Genvia is almost foolproof. There's no way to use it wrong if you use it at all. Step 2, distribute Genvia to all persons known to be living with AIDS with pictorial instructions as to its use through non-governmental organizations, doctors, hospitals, and clinics, and through health ministries. Step 3, distribute Genvia to the general public. Now, the general public distribution is very important. That 3 steps go hand in hand for this reason. We found out in Africa that condoms had gotten a bad reputation. Where you're introducing a condom into a society that has never used them before, the natural inclination is to identify the people who have condoms as AIDS people. So nobody wanted to be identified with them. The next problem was the culture. A young man, 30 years old, was found with a condom in his drawer by his father. His father beat him and put him out of the house. That's the story. Saying, you have a condom, you intend to do something wrong. You intend to do this or that. So we want to try and avoid the stigmas. That concludes my presentation. I only want to ask you 3 things. 1, while I'm here these 3 weeks, if you can introduce me to NGOs, and they don't have to be just AIDS NGOs. I'd like to use my time here fully. I like to go to bed every night with my tongue hanging out, can barely stay awake, so I'm used to hard work. That's 1. And to health ministry officials, if you happen to know someone that I could meet. And 2, to the financial community. It's going to take a lot of funding to move this project over such a wide population, large population. However, those investors will be assured of a very good return on their investment. And 3, this is the IT capital of the world. So if you have persons that are IT experts, I'd like to meet them. We want to develop a major website, and this would be an excellent place to start. And finally, I want to bring my family here to meet you.